Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the June 10th regular business board meeting. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Copeland.
Thank you, Dr. Gilbert. And I think first on the agenda is Representative Briggs with presentations on It Ought to Be a Law.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland, and thank you, Dr. Gilbert, and the board for allowing me to attend tonight and interrupt your meeting. I know it's a big agenda, but two, to thank you for allowing your fifth grade students to participate in the 10th annual There Ought to Be a Law contest. And for the public, the board's familiar because I'm here every June. But for the public, it's an essay contest that I started 10 years ago when I got elected and targeted fifth grade students to engage and come up with an idea that they thought should be a law. And I judge it, you asked fifth grade. I had young children at the time who were very engaged in the government and political process. I got elected in 2008, so I thought they were excited because of my chosen career path, but it was actually President Obama that got them really engaged. So we were talking about things that I could do as outreach, and they thought an essay contest, so I immediately thought high school students would be who the target universe was, and they convinced me that I should do fifth graders, and it was the best decision I've made. Maybe not the best, I got married and I had 4 kids, but it was a great decision to really see the issues that concern our future. They are always inspiring, they're well written, and I try to take the creative idea, this is how I judge it, creative idea, well written, but also persuasive if it's with a personal story, something that when we make our decisions, we always have to be cognizant of. I might think it's the best idea, but in Harrisburg, I would need 102 people to agree with me. So that's kind of how we look at the essays, about how they could tell the story in a priority, but also convince others. So with that, we have a winner of the essay contest is here tonight. And I didn't say this. We had, every year it gets a little bit larger. We had over 500 participants in the Lower Merion School District as well as the Upper Merion Area School District, includes some private schools. So it is quite an undertaking. It starts in January. We get the essays around February. It takes me a little bit of time to read them with the help of Jim and Corey in my office, and then my wife and I kind of narrow it down. So with that, we have the winner is tonight, and also around 8 or so finalists that honestly, of the 500, most of them could have been the winner, but it was, we really kind of narrowed it down. So this year's essay had a theme of an environmental theme. Not all of them stuck to that, but the first student I would like to introduce is Clara Loiter from Gladwin Elementary. Clara's going to come up. She wrote an essay regarding stormwater in inclement weather. And she proposed the use of green roofs to reduce harmful stormwater in our streets. Congratulations, Fifth grade. Haneen Maroof from Penn Wynn Elementary. Haneen wrote a persuasive essay advocating for alternatives to road salt. Haneen proposed that road salt is harmful to the environment and should be replaced with a more eco-friendly option. Thank you. Just stay over. Parker Kleiman, also from Penn Wynn Elementary. Parker wrote a essay regarding converting waste into energy. He says instead of using landfills, we should recycle our waste and use it for energy. Allison Tan from Penn Valley Elementary wrote an essay regarding flushing medications down the drain. She believes it should be illegal to flush medicine down the drain so our water remains safe to drink. Ethan Haywood from Penn Wynn Elementary also wrote a, and these are tough sometimes in Harrisburg, but wrote an essay that would require a mandatory class on the environment for all 5th and 12th graders to increase their knowledge of the subject. Thank you. We should leave control the curriculum to the school boards. But I understand it's a great idea, so maybe. Valerie Saul is a Gladwin Elementary student, wrote an essay regarding reusable water bottles. She believes these would encourage the use of eco-friendly reusable bottles and reduce our use of plastic. I don't think John Heister is here, but a student from Waldron Mercy Academy, if he is here, he can come up. He wrote a great essay about, let me see what it, overhunting and overfishing. So as I said, we read them all. We narrowed it down. It took us a while. But this year's winner was really outstanding. Lucy Yan, if she can come up. Lucy is a student at, and this citation is formatted different, Penn Valley Elementary. Her essay focused on making, this was actually, it was a great essay. And we all live this. Lucy focused her essay on making unsolicited mail more environmentally friendly, paving the way for a bright future. She's truly deserving of high praise. So the essay had to do with when you go home in the mail and all that junk mail and all the circulars and all the flyers, and there was opt-outs and there was just a lot of creative ways to reduce all that junk that we get every day, and it was really a very inspiring essay. So congratulations. And with that, it really was a great honor to read all of your students' essays. That, you know, you have a great school district and a great bunch of teachers that put a lot of time and commitment. So I want to thank the board for this partnership. It's really been great for me. If Dr. Gilbert and Mr. Copeland could join us for a photo, if that's okay, and then we will.
We will, and just want to
move
thank
on.
you, Representative Briggs, and congratulations to all the students for their terrific ideas.
Let's go up the back. Thank you. Thanks so much. Try not to hit your keyboard.
That's not the word I had. Do you want me to bring it up?
So this is the point in time when the board, we're recommending the final budget for the board's adoption. For those of you who have been following the budget process, the public budget process really begins, I guess, Mr. Orlando, the first presentation was in January, and we've done a series of sort of deep dives into each of our departments, where operations and curriculum and student services and all the departments really went through. So if it's of interest to you, you might want, if you haven't seen some of the meetings, you can go back and look at those finance committee meetings. They're archived on our website, and you can get a deep dive into the budget process that's going to be completed today. We begin the process with this presentation, with this slide, because it reminds us that there's something special about public education. Public education supports everybody. There's no entrance requirements except age, and you have to live in the community. And so we begin each of our presentations with that. This evening, the 2019-20 final budget, and this is going to be an overview. I won't go into a lot of depth because this will be a number of times we did this. This budget reflects something that's been going on for the last 10 years in the district. That's the growth of the district. This is just a snapshot of the number of folks that we've had to hire because of enrollment growth and the additions that we've done in terms of capital improvements for our schools. And we're not done. As you all know, we're all looking at a 5-8 middle school, a third middle school campus to alleviate some of that. I thought this was interesting. We showed this slide at this time last year. There are 499 school districts in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. 398 of them saw a decline in enrollment, and only 19, where one of them showed an enrollment growth of more than 10% over the last 10 years. So that gives a sense as to school districts are not the same. They're going in different directions, and we're one of the ones that are challenged with enrollment. This is just an overview of the final budget summary. I'll ask Mr. Orlando to.
Sure. The final budget for 2019-20, the total budget is $280,076,847, and you can see about $213 million is made up of salaries and benefits. The rest is other, and you can see the different items that are everything from debt service to tuition payments. And we have revenues of about $275 million. So we have a shortfall a little over $5 million, and that will require a tax increase of 2.3%, which is the Act 1 index for 2019-20.
Okay. And the impact?
So a median household assessment just over $250,000 would be a tax increase of $166.
One of the things I've asked Mr. Orlando to do is to also repeat some slides that he showed at the last Finance Committee meeting in terms of our capital reserve fund. So when there's surplus funds at the end of a budget year, you are directed to put those funds into reserve accounts, capital reserve and capital projects, correct, Mr.?
Correct.
Okay. So here's an example of what our intentions are in capital reserve. Can you just give us an overview, Vic?
Sure. So these slides here, as Mr. Copeland said, we're at a couple different Finance Committee meetings. So the first one is we have a 5-year capital improvement plan, and you can see back in the March meeting, we show what our plans are for the upcoming year. So it's about $4.4 million in capital improvements. The vast majority, I think all of them have been going out for bid and have been approved by the school board if there's been successful bidders. We also have a bus replacement plan for 2019-20 to replace 14 buses. And we also have an information technology plan for infrastructure of just under $600,000 for next school year. So a total of just a little over $6.8 million. And then just kind of give you, next slide.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have you got the controls.
Sorry.
That's okay. So as Ms. Gomez, our reserve account has a little over $15 million, and here's our estimated uses. We have buses that we went out for bid this year that hopefully should be here by the end of the month, approximately $2 million worth of bus replacements for this year. We are using some of the capital reserve with the cap projects to complete our land acquisitions for the new middle school and athletic fields, and the $6.8 million that was just shown earlier gives a total of about $13.8 million in estimated uses for the upcoming end of this year and next year. And we have approximately just under $2 million left in the fund.
And finally?
So committed fund balance for our general fund, there's a motion on this evening that the board will confirm the commitments we have for our fund balance. We have 3 commitments. Future PEASers obligations at $15.3 million. We have $5 million in future employment benefits. That's under Lmsb 75 and 76, and we have about $500,000 for our variable rate bonds. We have 2 different years of variable rate bonds, so it gives about $20.8 million in committed fund balance.
And this final slide is really just an example of some of the things that we focus on in terms of programs and making sure that we maintain the excellent school system that we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Copeland. And I just want to thank Mr. Copeland and Mr. Orlando and the other staff who are involved in the ongoing work in preparing the district budget. I'd also like to thank Ms. DiBonaventura for, did I do the pronunciation okay? I just learned I might have been pronouncing it wrong for 10 years, for her work as well in chairing the Finance Committee, as well as the other board members who participated. In a district like ours with a growing enrollment and many hard-to-predict variables, including state funding levels, special education expenses, facilities maintenance issues, pending litigation, it's really not an easy job to prepare the budgets that enable us really to continue to provide the very high-quality education and opportunities that our students deserve, while, limiting the burden on our taxpayers and making sure we're prepared in case of emergency. So I just want to say thank you. It is truly, it's really an ongoing process throughout the whole year. So I just want to acknowledge that. Are there any questions or comments from anyone on the board at this time? Okay, great. Sure, you need to turn on your, yeah.
On slide number 9, the bus replacement plan is there as part of the capital reserve fund.
That's correct.
So for the estimated uses on the slide underneath it, where it says capital reserve fund continued. Does everybody, do you see which slide I'm on? Sorry, I'm on. Right. So it's slide number 10. It lists the bus replacements again.
Well, so what I'm showing there is that's the cash balance in the account. So I'm showing what we still were approved and still has to be paid out of the fund. So those $2 million, so the $2 million is what was approved this year. We haven't paid for, we paid for a couple of them, but the shuttle bus is still coming in. So I need to show as a use coming out.
Got it.
That money's coming out.
Great. Thank
Yeah.
you for clarifying.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay. I'm just trying to get this closer. At this time, we will take public comment on action items only. That is, if you want to comment on something we're voting on tonight, now is the time to do so. At the end of the meeting, we will take public comment on any issue at all. So if you have a comment you'd like to make about an action item, can you please come to the front, sign in with Ms. LaPera, say your name and generally where you live, and there's a 3-minute limit. Does anyone like to speak at this time? Okay, great. At this time, I'm asking the board to approve the attached minutes from the May 20th regular business board meeting, as well as accepting the committee meeting minutes from the June 6th facilities and purchasing meeting. Are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? The motion passes. Back to you, Mr. Copeland.
Thank you, Dr. Gilbert. This is an exciting time of year in our district. Last Tuesday night, 369 Lower Merion High School students received their diplomas. The following night, 328 Harriton seniors received theirs. Congratulations to all of our graduates and their families. Later this week, our 5th graders and 8th graders will take part in promotion ceremonies as they prepare to enter new schools in the upcoming year. Congratulations are also in order for the Harriton High School girls lacrosse team, which won the Pennsylvania 3A state championship over the weekend by a score of 12-6. In addition, the Harriton Science Olympiad team took 3rd place in nationals, their 26th consecutive top 10 finish. And at the elementary level, our students have been busy as well. Penwyn Elementary hosted a pep rally the day before the original Alex's Lemonade stand was held there. Hundreds of families turned out to support cancer research. At Kinwood Elementary, Principal Dan Martino allowed himself to be slimed after his students raised more than $8,000 in honor of a classmate with a rare disease called AT. Those are the highlights. And I'm still working. Under Human Resources, I'd like to recommend that the Board of School Directors approves the attached Human Resources actions HR 1 through HR 5.
Are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? The motion passes.
I'd like to congratulate and welcome Dr. Tony Albanese as the new principal. As that motion just passed, it makes him the new principal of Marion Elementary School. Dr. Albanese. Did he leave already? Oh, no. Okay. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Mr. Copeland. Thank you, Board of Directors, for this awesome opportunity. I'm very excited to get to work at Marion, and I understand that Ms. Heffron and her staff have done incredible things for a long period of time. So I'm looking forward to continuing that standard of excellence, and I appreciate your confidence in me, giving me this opportunity, and I really did enjoy the process, Mr. Copeland, working with your leadership team, parents, staff members, other candidates. It was an awesome opportunity, and I'm grateful for it. And thank you for the Board of Directors as well.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much, and welcome to the community, and welcome to your family as well.
It's easier to say you enjoy it, of course, when you get the job.
And you didn't tell them about the sliming requirement.
No. Okay. Is there going to be there is no, that's right, there's no report, right? Okay. Under Educational Services, I'd like to take motions A and B in one motion. The administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the attached overnight trip, and the administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approve the attached contracts as listed.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? The motion passes.
Under Student Services, the administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the student service items as listed. Agreement for students receiving non-district educational services SS1 through SS17. The administration recommends that the Board of School Directors under B approve the attached agreement with Leader Services in the amount of $32,714 for the term of July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. And finally, the administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves independent consultant contract with Dr. Gene Stanley in the not-to-exceed amount of $30,000.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? The motion passes. And Mr. Orlando? Oh, I apologize. I don't want to forget you. We are going to have a report of the Facilities and Purchasing Committee by Mr. Driscoll.
Thank you. We met this past Thursday in this room at 8:30 in the morning, and we began by reviewing and recommending for approval the list of bills. We then moved on to the district contracts. First one was Leader Services, $32,714 for the renewal contract for the IEP writer software. The second was Dr. Gene Stanley, not to exceed $30,000, renewal contract to provide professional services and development around gender inclusivity issues. College Board, $19,376, renewal contract to provide the PSAT and the National Merit Scholarship qualifying test. World Book, $8,757, renewal contract to provide online differentiated learning packages. Learning Without Tears, $9,777.50. Keyboarding software license for K-5. Who Knew It, $13,273.32. Renewal contract for software support technology applications. Blackboard Inc., $35,640, renewal contract for learning management software. And then David Tennant, $15,050. This is to refurbish an existing Steinway piano that the district currently owns. It was discussed that the refurbishment is a lower cost alternative than replacement. We then moved on to purchasing report. School installers of PA, $15,035.50. They will manufacture and install a new circulation desk at Gladwin Elementary to accommodate the new makerspace that is going into there. Mastercraft gym floors, $20,400. Prep and Reco all gymnasium floors except Kinwood, which was recoded more recently. Tri-State Elevator, $9,792. Provide the annual preventive maintenance and inspections of all district elevators. Hondrew Ford, $43,850. Purchase a new Ford F-350 truck to replace an existing truck that is about 10 years old and at the end of its useful life. Triad Truck Equipment, $8,864. This is to purchase what's called an upfit package for that previous truck that will include a snow plow and other equipment. Mainline Commercial Pools, $8,100. Replace the existing sand filter for the pool at Lower Marion High School as it has reached the end of its useful life. Papco Inc. at $1.81 and 51 thousandths per gallon of gasoline, and Tally Petroleum Enterprise, $2.13 and 55 thousandths per gallon for biodiesel fuel. These are to purchase transportation fuels for our buses. River Organics, $15,537 and 50 cents. A contract to supply, deliver, and install safety mulch at various playgrounds around the district. Recreation Resource, $48,509. Install new playground equipment at Belmont Hills Elementary, as some of the existing equipment has aged to the point where it is becoming a safety hazard. Replacement of this equipment has been discussed in conjunction with our facility's 5-year plan. School installers of Pennsylvania, $9,641.88. There's 2 of them at that price, where they will remove existing stalls and furnish and install privacy partitions in the boys and girls locker rooms at both high schools, so $9,000 plus for each high school. Fence Co. Inc., $9,985. Install a temporary fence around 1860 Montgomery Avenue, as demolition and construction will begin soon to keep that site secure. Prism Response LLC, $219,929. This is a contract to remove any hazardous materials such as asbestos and underground fuel storage tanks and septic tanks with possible soil remediation at the 1860 site. Brightfields Inc., $922,250. They will provide building demolition at 1860 West Montgomery. It should be noted that some of the materials will be salvaged and repurposed as appropriate. WB Mason Company, Inc., $27.91 per carton. This is to purchase white copier paper for the district. Many of these items were bid through a state-run consortium process, or through a district-run process, or through actually the MCIU ran a few of these, most notably the fuel purchase. Huddle, $8,700, a contract for a camera mounted in the Harrington High School gymnasium to record practices and games for analysis later. This package also includes a breakdown of outdoor sports when the district can record them and upload them to the Huddle site. E-Plus, $23,400, renewal contract to provide support and maintenance to the district's email, spam, and malware prevention system. Lower Marion Aquatic Club, $33,000. The district will receive payment from this club to rent time at the Lower Marion High School pool. Spiesel Architectural Group, $14,600. They will review the district's current student capacities across the district and provide a report on the same to comply with PDE's PlanCon program. Advanced Protection Company, not to exceed $30,000. As the district is soon to take possession of 1860 West Montgomery Avenue, this company will provide on-site security guards to prevent trespassing. David Blackmore & Associates, not to exceed $25,342. They will provide soil boring tests and stormwater filtration tests at locations at 1860 that are currently have existing buildings on them. Once those buildings are removed, they can do that testing. Similar soil boring tests and stormwater filtration were done where the buildings were not prior. Wayne Moving and Storage, $9,760, a contract to have personal items, furniture and trash removed from the buildings at 1860 before the hazardous material can be removed. This contract is only if needed, if there's some things left over by the current tenants. 2 contracts with Gilbert Architects, both are not to exceed $15,000. Each one is to begin plans for temporary classrooms, one at Penn Valley Elementary and one at Marion Elementary. Due to enrollment increases, we are anticipating possibly needing additional space. By putting these contracts in place now, the district can move quickly in the fall if needed, as determined by our 10-day enrollment numbers. Actual construction of temporary classrooms has not been determined and will not occur until the summer of 2020. Our last item we voted on was to approve the administration change orders not to exceed $50,000 for each of the following construction projects. There will be asphalt repair at Gladwin, roof replacement at Marion, masonry facade restoration at Penn Valley, roof replacement at Penwyn, and tennis court replacement at Lower Marion High School. As these projects have a very short window to get done this summer, the administration needs the flexibility to approve increased costs that could arise from unforeseen circumstances. Whatever change orders come through will eventually be brought to the board at the following business meeting. That was the end of our agenda items. Then we went on to information where we discussed the construction at 1860. We discussed the current timeline for demolition at 1860, as well as land development and bidding schedule over the next 12 months to get that project going. We then concluded the meeting, and our next meeting will be July 11th at 8:30 in this room.
Thank you very much for your report. And I just want to make sure it's clear that if we need temporary classrooms at Penn Valley and Marion, they will in fact be temporary until the new middle school is built.
Correct. And what happened when we put in modular classrooms at Penn Wynn is we waited until the demographic report came out, which is a prudent thing to do, and then we started the process. And then, it takes a long time for approvals in the township. So there's no guarantee that we're going to need these, but we want to start the process now to make sure we don't get into a tight spot later.
Thank you.
Under Business Office and Finance, I'd like to take action items B through N in one motion. The administration recommends the Board of School Directors approve the following action items. Approve the list of bills. Approve the financial report for May 2019. Appoint Kenneth A. Roos of Whistler Pearlstein, LLP, as the school solicitor for the 1920 school year. There's compensation fees and rates for the services are included in the attached memorandum. Approve the financial institutions and investment trusts as depositories for the school district funds for the fiscal year 2019-20 as listed in the action item. Adopt the 2019 budget of the Lower Merion School District for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2019. It's per the attachment, which sets the tax rate at 29.4088 mils by adopting the attached budget resolution, and further, the board adopts the attached real estate tax resolution, and further, the following resolution items 1 through 14 listed in the action item. Adopt the 2019 Homestead Farmstead exclusion resolution. Approve the transfers in the 2019 budget as listed in the attachment, and further, the board authorizes the business manager to make additional transfers in the 2018-19 budget as recommended by the school district auditor. Such transfers must be approved publicly by the school board prior to being finalized. Approve the transfer from the general fund to the capital projects fund in a current projected amount of $6 million to authorize the business manager to transfer excess general fund monies to the capital projects fund if such funds are available, or to adjust the transfer amount during the audit at the end of the fiscal year in consultation with the auditors. Such transfers must be approved publicly by the school board prior to being finalized. Approve the committed fund balance as per the attachment. The Board of School Directors authorizes the administration to reflect these commitments in any applicable submissions to the Department of Education, Pennsylvania Department of Education. Continue to segregate in the PSDLAF account number XXXXX-113 monies received on account of the exceptions approved by the Pennsylvania Department of Education for the 2016-17 tax year, pending resolution of the appeal of the Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas order of August 29, 2016, and any proceeds on remand or otherwise in relation to the August 29, 2016 order, and to supplement this amount with the monies in the 2019-20 tax millage attributable to these exceptions from the 2016-17 tax increase. The monies in this account may not be released by the administration without further action taken by the board at a public meeting. Approve the amendment to the letter of credit agreement in connection with the extensions of letter of credit issued to secure the general obligation note. That's the Series A of 2008. Maintain the 2018-19 nutritional service prices for the 2019-20 school year, and declare surplus items as surplus property and authorize the disposition thereof.
Thank you very much, Mr. Orlando. As you've heard from Mr. Driscoll's report, as well as prior reports by Ms. DiVonaventura on the Finance Committee, that these have been all reviewed in either previous committee meetings or previous full board meetings. Are there any questions at this time? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? The motion passes.
Under the Facilities and Operations section, I'm going to take items A through J in one motion. As noted in Mr. Driscoll's report, all these items were reviewed at the Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting. The administration recommends the Board of School Directors approve the following action items. Does award the bid to contractors in order named in the attached purchasing report for the following items: Montgomery County Joint Purchasing fuel bid for number 2, heating oil, gasoline, and biodiesel. Modifications to the library for makerspace at Gladwin Elementary School. Prep and recoat the gym floors district-wide. Annual elevator preventive maintenance and inspections district-wide. Purchase of a Ford F-350 pickup truck and the Ford F-350 upfit package. 10-year sand filter change service at Lower Merion High School. Install safety mulch at various locations in the school district. Install new playground equipment at Belmont Hills Elementary School. Partitions for boys and girls locker rooms at Harrington High School and also at Lower Merion High School. Furnish and install temporary security fence at 1860 West Montgomery Avenue. The bid for hazardous materials abatement, underground storage tank / septic tank closure and sewer remediation. Building demolition at 1860 West Montgomery Avenue. And the paper bid, white paper, 8.5 by 11 copy paper. Approve the license agreement with Lower Merion Aquatics Club for the 2019-20 school year in the amount of $33,000 payable to the district. Approve Advanced Protection Company to provide overnight security agents at 1816 West Montgomery Avenue for a not-to-exceed amount of $30,000, and that's in accordance with the contract approved February 19th. Approve the Fifth Amendment for professional services with Spiesel Architectural Group for a not-to-exceed amount of $14,600. Approve the individual work order from David Blackmore Associates, Inc. for geotechnical services for a not-to-exceed amount of $25,342. Approve the individual work order with Gilbert Architects for conceptual layout temporary classrooms at Marion Elementary School and Penn Valley Elementary School for a not-to-exceed amount of $15,000 for each school. Approve the proposal from Wayne Moving and Storage Company for removal of items at 1816 West Montgomery Avenue, the amount of $9,760. Let's see here. Authorize the administration to approve all directives, cost adjustments, schedule adjustments, professional services, and fees that the administration deems necessary for completion of the following projects. The administration's authorization is limited to the amount of $50,000 for each of these projects. Asphalt improvements at Gladwin Elementary, major roof replacement and restoration at Marion Elementary School, masonry facade restoration at Penn Valley Elementary School, major roof replacement and restoration at Penn Wynn Elementary School, tennis court replacement at Lower Merion High School. And those transactions will be authorized and executed by the administration, and they'll be included in a subsequent board meeting for ratification. Approve the quote from E+ for the annual renewal of Ironport software in the amount of $23,400, and approve the quote from Huddle for an online video program at Harrington High School in the amount of $8,700, and that's subject to solicitor's review.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments at this time? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? The motion passes. Okay. At this time, we're going to take audience recognition. That is, if someone would like to speak, now is the time to come up if you want to sign in. Just please come up and sign in, and then you can,
Already signed in? Okay.
okay, please tell us your name and just generally where you live, and then.
Oh, yes, my name's Julie Weiner, and I live in Wynwood, Pennsylvania. Of course, you know, it's Pennsylvania.
That's okay.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen of the board, thank you for hearing me this evening on this non-agenda item. I have come to bring to your attention a pending bill, H.R. 7124, or the Keeping All Students Safe Act. This bill aims to prohibit the use of restraint and seclusion in schools. This is an abusive, traumatizing practice legally used on disabled children, including myself at Marion Elementary in 2007 and 2008. Dozens of organizations have condemned the practice. Since 1990, committees in the United Nations condemned the practice in all situations, including schools. In 2009, the Convention Against Torture deemed that seclusion and restraint in schools, if regularly misused as corporal punishment rather than emergency intervention, counts as cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment. As of 2012, Lower Merion's policy on seclusion and restraint aligns with Pennsylvania's restrictions, noted in policy number 236. Restraint and seclusion is permitted only in conjunction with a positive behavior plan and allowed in the IEP. I doubt this policy was in place when I was at Marion's emotional support program for 4th grade. At that time, the teachers and aides used 2 padded cells called cool-down rooms. They misused them for 2 things: punishment, and when de-escalating a student's behavior constructively was way too much work. I developed post-traumatic stress disorder on top of the emotional disturbance that sent me to the program for Penguin. You could see, therefore, that I find it hard to believe the practice has been restricted as per the policy. I am sharing my story now despite receiving funding from the district for my education elsewhere because I need the district to know why HR 7124 is important. Although it is quite new, it has been gaining traction from activists around the country. When it passes, districts will have 180 days to ban the use altogether. Out of respect for time, the longer details of the abuse are in a letter I've emailed to the board today. In the shortest terms, the emotional support faculty at Marion was more versed in behavioral support, even though it was clear that was not what I needed. My meltdowns were limited to loud crying, not violence to myself or others. Calming de-escalation was the recommended practice, but seclusion and violent restraint was what I got. Towards the end of the year, I actually developed self-destructive behaviors and kept them until I went to college. Perhaps it is unfair of me to assume this degree of seclusion is still in use due to the current policy. Seclusion is only permitted in Stage 4 of the behavioral support policy and theoretically designed to limit the use of seclusion and restraint as much as possible. I could only wish this was in place in 2007. The lower stages would have included more appropriate ways to help me manage my emotions. The problem is that other schools have similar restricted policies and they do not follow through with them. I cannot trust that Lower Merion is an exception. The point I'm trying to make is that seclusion has to go. When HR 7124 passes, it will go. Lower Merion cannot claim to be one of the finest school systems in the U.S. if they practice an abuse considered torture by the United Nations, among others. It might be able to earn my respect, however, if they get a jump start on banning seclusion before they must. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us about your experience. And I mean, we really appreciate it. And, we're obviously very sorry that that was your experience. And we've worked on our policy alongside the Committee on Special Education. So I'm just going to let Mr. Roos talk about the policy.
Thank you. The speaker is exactly correct. The policy was revised in 2012. Regarding not only restraints, but also the use of what were then known as calming rooms or seclusion. And as the speaker noted, these policies do contain very strong limitations on the use of these practices and are completely in accordance with the Department of Education regulations and guidelines.
I just want to assure you that we take this very seriously. And again, thank you for speaking with us.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Are there any other people who would like to make public comment at this time? Okay. Mr. Roos, can you do the Sunshine Act, please?
There was actually no executive session this evening. There have been no executive session since the last board meeting.
Okay. Then that wasn't necessary. Thank you. I'll just give the upcoming meeting dates. We're now going to be in sort of our summer mode. So our only committee meeting that meets regularly during the summer is Facilities and Purchasing, which will be meeting at 8:30 on July 11th. And there's a July 15th regular business board meeting at 8 p.m., both held here in this room. And I believe those are the only two that are coming up. So we just want to thank everyone for attending this evening and to wish everyone a wonderful summer. And we'll be back full swing in the fall. So thank you. We're adjourned.